The ambulance siren screams through the quiet street. You can almost hear a heart pounding, not just inside a chest, but in the air itself. And then, the crash. The sudden silence that follows when a life is shattered. That's what happens when high blood pressure strikes without warning. It's not some distant story. It's right here, right now. You might think, I feel fine. But high blood pressure? It's the silent assassin. No pain, no signals, just creeping damage until, bam, a stroke, a heart attack, a hospital bed, or worse. Stop for a second. Imagine you're at home, maybe watching TV, and suddenly your chest tightens. You say, I'll wait it out. But waiting is exactly what kills. Doctors call it hypertension. But don't be fooled by the fancy name. This is a ticking time bomb in millions of homes. People who never believed it could happen to them. People who thought it's just a bit of stress. Or, I'm too old for this to matter. Wrong. Dead wrong. Every year, thousands wake up to bad news. Their blood pressure spiked, their arteries screaming inside their bodies, and their lives forever changed. Do you know what makes it even scarier? Most never see the signs. No headaches, no dizziness, nothing until the damage is done. And here's a fact that'll shock you. Eating the right food can be more powerful than some medicines. Yes, food. Simple things you already know, or maybe don't, quietly holding the key to lowering that dangerous pressure. So, what if I told you you don't have to live with fear? That your kitchen, your grocery list, your daily choices can be a fortress against this silent killer. This is not about magic pills or expensive treatments. This is about everyday power, the power of food. It's about flipping the script, taking back control, because your blood pressure doesn't have to be your enemy. Picture this, a plate with colors so bright it's almost like a painting, but inside those colors, life-saving forces. Natural warriors against clogged arteries and relentless pressure. High blood pressure is not a sentence, it's a warning, a call to action. And today, you're going to learn exactly what to do. No fluff, no boring lectures, just real, simple foods that fight back, that heal, that give you a chance to breathe easier, live longer, and wake up without that silent threat hanging over your head. Because this is your moment, your chance to rewrite the story, to choose health, to beat the odds. Let's dive in. Meet George. 62 years old, retired factory worker with hands rough from years of hard labor. A man who knows sweat and grit like old friends. Every morning he sipped his strong black coffee, no sugar, no cream. Keeps me sharp, he'd say. But what he didn't know was that this morning ritual was quietly fueling a storm inside his body. George wasn't the type to complain. He felt tired sometimes, sure. But who doesn't? He chalked it up to age. Nothing a good nap won't fix, he'd say with a wink. Yet one day he stood up from his chair and the world tilted. I just don't remember the next minute, he told his wife later. A stroke had slammed into his life without warning. His blood pressure? Off the charts. Yet he had never even checked it. Why bother? I feel fine. That was his mistake, and maybe yours too. But here's the twist. George's story didn't end there. In the hospital, lying on that cold bed, he promised himself two things. Never again. And no magic pill was going to save him if he kept eating like before. His diet was full of salt, processed meats, and too many fried foods. Comfort food, sure, but poison to his heart and arteries. One nurse said, "George, you don't have to be a prisoner of this." And something clicked. He started learning about what really matters. Not just medicine, but what he put on his plate. Simple foods that could lower his pressure and rebuild his strength. He swapped the salty snacks for fresh veggies. He traded the fried chicken for grilled fish. He began adding berries, nuts, and leafy greens. At first, it felt strange. I missed my old habits, he admitted. But with each day, George felt something else. Energy, clarity, hope. His blood pressure started dropping, slowly but surely. His doctor smiled at his progress, saying, "You're doing the real work." George's story isn't unique, but it's powerful because it shows that no matter how far you've fallen, there's a way up, a way to fight back with every meal, every bite. Imagine yourself in George's shoes, the shock, the fear, but then the choice, the courage to change, to live. That's what this is about, not just numbers on a chart, but a life, yours, ready to be lived fully. So, what happened next to George? You'll hear soon. But first, let's understand what's really going on inside your body, because knowing is the first step to winning this battle. Imagine your arteries as highways, wide, smooth, and free-flowing. Blood is the traffic, zooming through effortlessly, delivering oxygen and nutrients to every corner of your body. Now, picture what happens when those highways start to narrow. Traffic jams form. Cars, your blood cells, struggle to squeeze through tighter lanes. The pressure builds. That pressure is what we call high blood pressure. It's the force your blood exerts against the walls of your arteries. When it's too high, those walls get strained, cracked, and worn down, like a road left to crumble under too much weight and stress. Now, why does this happen? Let's break it down simply. Your arteries aren't just passive tubes. They're living, breathing vessels that flex and relax to keep blood flowing smoothly. But too much salt? Too much processed food? Too little movement? These are like bad drivers who keep slamming the brakes and honking the horn, causing chaos on the road. Salt, for instance, tricks your body into holding on to extra water. More water means more volume in your blood, like adding more cars to an already busy highway. The heart has to pump harder, working overtime just to push the traffic through. And the lining of your arteries, called the endothelium, is like the road surface itself. If it gets damaged, your arteries become stiff, less flexible. Imagine driving on a cracked, uneven road. That stiffness pushes your blood pressure even higher. There's more. Your body has tiny chemical messengers that tell your vessels when to tighten or relax. When this system gets out of balance, your arteries stay constricted longer, making the pressure soar. And here's a kicker. High blood pressure doesn't just strain your heart, it also damages your brain, kidneys, and eyes. Silent, sneaky damage until one day the highway collapses. A stroke, kidney failure, or heart attack. But here's the good news. Your diet is like road repair and traffic control combined. Eating the right foods, those rich in potassium, magnesium, fiber, helps relax your arteries, flush out excess salt, and calm the chaos. They act like skilled workers, patching up the cracks and widening the lanes. Think of potassium like a traffic officer directing cars smoothly, keeping pressure down. Foods like bananas, spinach, and sweet potatoes are packed with it. Magnesium? That's the lubricant, helping your muscles and vessels relax. Nuts, seeds, and whole grains are your best friends here. Fiber slows down the rush, stabilizing sugar and cholesterol, preventing buildup that narrows your highways. So, understanding this, your blood pressure is a story of traffic, road conditions, and management. Your body is a city. And what you eat? That's your urban planner. You can choose chaos or calm. This is why simple foods matter. They don't just feed you, they fix you from the inside out. Now, let's talk about those foods, those real, everyday heroes that George started to rely on. Because knowing the science is one thing, but using it? That's where the power lives. Here's the first story. Imagine Sarah, a grandmother who loved her afternoon tea with sugar and biscuits. Every day, that sweet ritual felt like a warm hug, but her blood pressure kept climbing, silent and steady. One day, her doctor warned, "Cut back on sugar, Sarah. It's not just about weight, it's about your heart. Sugar spikes insulin, causes inflammation, and tightens those arteries like a noose." So Sarah swapped her sugary treats for a handful of almonds and a cup of green tea. The change? Small but powerful. Her pressure began to ease. You can do the same. Ditch the sugar trap and choose natural, calming options. It's a simple swap that tells your arteries, "Relax, we got this." Now meet Tom. Tom's weakness was salt. Not just a pinch here and there, he poured it like it was seasoning for life. Bacon, canned soups, salty snacks. They were his comfort zone. But salt holds water, and more water means higher pressure. One evening, Tom's chest tightened. Scared, he finally read labels, shocked at the hidden salt in everyday foods. He started cooking fresh meals, using herbs and lemon instead of salt. Months later, his blood pressure numbers looked like a new man's. The lesson? Salt is sneaky, lurking where you least expect. Cut it down, and your heart will thank you. Last, there's Maria. Maria hated exercise. Too tired, she said. But then she found a simple way: daily walks with her dog, slow and steady. This gentle movement helped her blood vessels relax and her heart pump smoother. Imagine your arteries like old rubber bands. The more you stretch and move, the more flexible they stay. No marathon needed. Just 15 minutes a day can lower pressure and lift your spirits. It's not about pushing hard, it's about consistency. These stories aren't just tales, they're lifelines. Because the foods you eat and the habits you build are your frontline warriors against high blood pressure. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Start small. One swap, one step, one choice at a time. You made it this far. That means something. It means you care. You're not just a passive observer, you're someone ready to take charge. And that's where real change begins. High blood pressure. It's tough. It's sneaky. But it's not undefeatable. Not for you, not for anyone willing to fight back with knowledge, with simple habits, with patience. Remember George? He didn't start as a hero. He started as a man scared, uncertain, stuck in old ways. But every day he chose differently. Every meal, every step, every small decision built a new story, one of strength, hope, and life. And that story, it can be yours. This isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about waking up tomorrow and choosing to love your body a little more than you did yesterday. Because here's the truth. Inside you is a power so strong, so real, it can turn the tide. Your blood vessels can heal. Your heart can rest. Your life can expand beyond fear. Take a deep breath. Feel that? That's possibility. That's a new chapter waiting to be written. You don't have to be a victim of your blood pressure. You can be the author of your health. So, go ahead. Fill your plate with color, with life, with hope. Move gently. Listen closely. Choose wisely. Your heart is listening. Your future is waiting. And I believe in you. This is your time, your moment, your fight. Make it count.